Today's story is about the spoiled child of a rich father who falls in love with his own stepsister. Both of them secretly commit such acts behind their family's back, which we will see in this entire story today. So hello friends, my name is Ashita, and at the beginning of the story we see a girl named Noah who is moving to her mother's boyfriend William's house with her mother. Actually, Noah's mom and dad are divorced, and now her mom's boyfriend is very rich. They are going to get married in a few days. But Noah is not happy about this marriage, and she does not want to become the daughter of a rich father. Her mom, Rafaela, explains to her that we can't keep trying to make our lives better on our own. We need to move forward in life, and for that, we need good support. She also says, I know you are separated from your boyfriend Dan, but you are still 17, and after going there, you will make a lot of friends. When they arrive there, William comes and welcomes them. But Noah does not talk nicely to her mom's boyfriend. Her mom then takes her to show her the house, which is very beautiful and grand. However, Noah is unable to accept all of this. Her mom shows her the room, which is very beautiful. Her mom says that William decorated the room with Noah's favorite things and colors on her request, so Noah likes the room. After that, her mom tells her about Nick, who is William's son and Noah's stepbrother. When Noah goes to the balcony, she sees a boy behind the trees, but she can't see his face properly. Just then, her best friend Betty calls, and she goes to the kitchen while talking to her. Suddenly, she gets scared seeing Nick, and her phone falls down. As she bends down to pick up her phone, Nick's dog comes in, and she hides behind Nick in fear. She picks up a pen and says to Nick, if you don't make this dog quiet, I'll hit you on the head with this. Nick replies, don't even think about it, or my dog will attack you. Just then, their mom and dad arrive, and Noah says, that's nice, but I like the dog better. She then goes back to her room and notices her best friend Betty is still on the call and listening to everything. Betty asks her how her stepbrother is, saying, your mom said he's very sweet. Noah replies, I didn't look at him closely. Later, everyone is going out for dinner, and Noah comes out wearing a beautiful dress. Everyone compliments her dress, and they leave for dinner. On the way, Noah is missing her boyfriend, and suddenly Nick overtakes them with his car. After reaching the place, they start having dinner, where Noah, in conversation, insults Nick, but Nick takes it lightly. Then he tells his mom and dad that he has some important work to do and needs to leave. While leaving, he says to Noah, where will you run from me, sister? Nick's dad then tells him to drop Noah home and says, drive carefully. Then we see that Nick starts driving fast, and both of them start arguing inside the car. In the middle of the conversation, Noah says something bad about Nick's mom, and hearing this, Nick stops the car and, in anger, drops Noah in the middle of the road and leaves. After some time, she stops a car in which a boy named Mario is there. He gives Noah a lift, and they start talking in the car. The boy says he is going to a villa to party, and during their conversation, Noah finds out that Mario is Nick's friend, and Mario also learns that Noah is Nick's sister. Then Mario says Nick is also going to the same party, to which Noah says, take me to that party too. After reaching the party, Noah sees that many girls are coming and kissing Nick one after another, and she thinks he said he had important work, but came here to do all this. Then she goes up to him and punches him hard, saying, how could you leave me on a deserted road and come here to have fun? Anything could have happened to me there. She adds, your dad thinks you are Mr. Perfect, but what if he finds out about all this? To this, Nick threatens her, saying, you won't tell anyone about this, and you should not care about any of this. Noah then asks, why do you flirt with girls? Nick replies, girls are automatically drawn to me. And during this, he comes very close to Noah. She pushes him away. Nick then goes back to his mischief, and a girl comes to Noah and says she is Nick's childhood friend. In conversation, they become friends. A little distance away, we see Nick taunting Noah by kissing a girl in a unique style. A boy named Ronnie, who is a gangster, starts talking to Noah and offers her a drink. After taking a sip, Noah feels strange, and just then, Nick comes and pushes the boy down. But Noah, taunting Nick, starts drinking that drink again, and Nick spills it, saying, these guys mix drugs and drinks and give them to girls. Meanwhile, Noah starts feeling dizzy, so Nick decides to take her home. Noah was heavily intoxicated, so she starts talking naughty things about Nick in the car. Nick tells her to shut up, but she doesn't. They reach home this way, and Nick carries Noah to her room and puts her to bed. Naughty thoughts start coming to Nick's mind, but he controls himself. After Noah falls asleep in her drunken state, she has a dream where she sees herself as a little girl. Her mom is waking her up and then hiding her somewhere, because her real dad is banging on the door and yelling to open it to torture her and her mom. The next morning we see Nick having breakfast. When Noah comes to him and asks, "What happened between us last night?" Nick teases her, saying, "A lot happened between us last night," which makes Noah worry. After this, Noah goes to the beach to relax, where she meets Jana. After a while, Nick comes there with his friends to do surfing. When he was changing clothes, Noah was watching him, and for a moment naughty thoughts started coming to her mind as well. She later finds out that Nick is going to a race that night. Later at night, we see Nick with his friends and many other people, where Nick has to race against Ronnie's group today. Both get ready for car racing, and the race starts. A fantastic car race happens, and as always, Nick wins the car race this time too. After Nick's victory, everyone starts celebrating. Just then, Noah gets a message and sees that her boyfriend Dan is kissing her friend. Seeing this, she gets very angry and, in anger, grabs a boy at the party and starts kissing him while clicking photos. But Nick comes there and drives the boy away, then takes Noah's phone, looks at it, and understands why Noah is doing all this. Noah says she needed a photo to show her boyfriend and make him jealous. Here, Nick gets a chance to get close to her and says, "If I kiss you and give you a photo, will you go home?" Noah agrees. Then Nick kisses her in a very impressive way, and Noah takes a photo. Nick then puts her in the car and says, "I'll tell my friend to drop you home." Saying this, Nick goes to romance another girl. Meanwhile, Noah sends that photo to her boyfriend to make him jealous, and then moves to the driver's seat and starts the car. Just then, Ronnie comes with a car to the racing line and asks, "Nick is going to race with me again, but what are you doing in the car on the racing line?" Noah says she can race too, and the race starts. Noah and Ronnie start a racing competition, and there's a tough race between them. Meanwhile, Nick quickly comes to see that Noah is racing in his place, and he becomes very worried. But Noah eventually wins the race, and everyone is happy. However, since Ronnie lost the race, he starts fighting with Nick, saying, "You broke the game rules by sending a girl to compete. That's why we won, and you lost. Now you'll have to pay and give your car too." Noah starts fighting with Ronnie over this, but Nick tries to take her away. Ronnie insults Noah, and hearing this, Nick angrily starts beating Ronnie, leading to a fight between the two groups. Seeing this, Noah gets scared and crouches down. Nick's friend takes her to Nick's car, and after a while, Nick also comes and they quickly leave from there. We then see a scene 4 days later in the morning where Noah is sleeping. Her mom comes to wake her up and tells her that her dad, William, has thrown a success party today and she has to go too. She also mentions that Nick has been missing for 4 days, but he knows about the party and will arrive on time. We see Nick, and we find out that he also has a younger sister. His dad's first wife, i.e. Nick's mom, no longer lives with him, and they are divorced, but he has come to meet his younger sister, Maggie, who has cancer. So Nick spends a lot of time with her and talks to her. Meanwhile, Noah, her mom, and dad return after the party, but Nick couldn't come to that party. Noah comes home and is sitting alone watching TV when Nick comes home. He sits next to her, and while talking, they start kissing. Slowly, they start losing control, and Nick says, "This is wrong, we shouldn't do this." Just then, Noah's mom arrives and tells Nick to talk to his dad about why he didn't come to his dad's success party. So, he leaves. The next day, Noah is washing her car when she notices Nick watching her. To show off, she starts wetting herself with water, and Nick laughs seeing this. But just then, Noah's mom brings her boyfriend Dan to meet her. However, since Noah saw those kissing photos, she has started hating him, so she doesn't talk to him properly. But when Dan tries to kiss her, Noah turns her face away. After this, Noah's mom takes Dan inside the house. Meanwhile, Nick was swimming in the pool, and Noah goes to talk to him near the pool. Nick pulls her into the pool. Day by day, a relationship seems to be forming between them, and whenever they are near each other, they start losing control. After that, they go to a side in the pool and start kissing. Dan, standing a little distance away, sees both of them, and is quite shocked, but Nick's friends make an excuse and stop him there. Just then, Noah's mom calls Nick and he leaves. After this, Dan comes to Noah and asks, "Isn't this the same guy whose picture you sent me?" But Noah doesn't answer him. Later, when Nick is going somewhere, he runs into Ronnie on the way, who, just like the other day, starts making bad comments about Noah in front of Nick. Nick gets angry, and the scene shifts to Nick at home with bruises on his face, indicating that a big fight occurred between Nick and Ronnie. Now Nick is standing by the pool and sees that Noah is sleeping outside. He goes to her and sees a scar on her stomach. Seeing this, he tries to cover her stomach. Just then, Noah wakes up and punches him hard. causing blood to come out of his nose. Seeing this, Noah apologizes to Nick and says, "I suddenly thought Dan had come to bother me, so I acted in haste." At this point, they get close to each other again, but just then, Dan arrives and sees them. Noah tells Dan, "Don't tell anyone about this and please leave tomorrow." The next morning, Noah's mom gives her a letter from Dan saying that he has gone back. Then, we see Noah and Nick going with their friends to a fight club where Nick is going to fight today. After entering the club, they start talking and end up kissing. It becomes very difficult for both of them to control themselves. Whenever they are near each other, they take one step closer, as if they have become addicted to each other. But then two other friends arrive in another car and see Nick and Noah together. Nick's friend advises him, saying, "She's your stepsister, you shouldn't do this." After this, they all go inside the club, and it's Nick's turn to fight. Noah tells him not to fight because she doesn't like violence, but Nick doesn't listen and goes to fight. Nick starts winning the fight, but Noah, seeing all this, goes outside. At the same time, one of Nick's friends also comes out with Noah, and while talking, he tries to kiss her. Meanwhile, Nick wins the fight and also gets the prize money. When he comes outside and sees this, he gets very angry, pushes his friend away, scolds him, and tells him to leave. He then says to Noah, "Don't let anyone come close to you again." But Noah is angry with Nick because of the fight, and she says, "There will be nothing more between us, so don't talk to me anymore." After this, they both stay away from each other for many days, but miss each other a lot. Then one day, Nick's dad tells him that Noah's dad, Jonas, is out of jail, and that he used to torture Noah and her mom, Rafaela, a lot. Nick's dad also mentions that there are scars on Noah's body from the beatings of her dad. Nick says, "I heard that Noah's dad is dead." His dad replies, "No, he was in jail for years, and it was Noah's testimony that put him there, but 2 weeks ago, he got out, and now he could try to harm Noah and her mom at any time. That's why I want you to take care of Noah all the time." Noah is at a party where she drinks a lot. On the other hand, Nick is looking for her and calling everyone to ask about her. Meanwhile, in the club, one of Nick's friends, just for fun, locks Noah in a closet, which scares her a lot because when she was a child, her crazy dad used to lock her in a closet like that. Just then, Nick arrives, takes her out of the closet, and brings her home. Noah was very scared from this incident, so she asked Nick to stay close to her. Although it was very difficult for Nick, he stays in Noah's room that night. The next morning, Nick was about to go to his room when his dad arrives and sees them together, causing both of them to panic. Nick's dad was actually there to tell him about his sister's illness and that she was in the hospital, but after seeing them like this, he gets angry and leaves. After this, Nick takes Noah to meet his sister Maggie and talks to her. On the way back, Nick says, "We will reach home in a little while." He pulls the car to the side and stops it. They are both very tense because Nick's dad saw them together. Noah says, "Your dad won't let us be together now, and this might be our last night." Hearing this, Nick starts kissing her, and finally both of them completely lose control. After that, they go to the seaside, where they get very close to each other to make this moment beautiful and memorable, and they stay together until morning. Nick then tells Noah, "Let's run away from here." But Noah refuses and says, "My mom got a good life after many years. I can't make her sad." After that, they start going home, but on the way, Nick stops the car to get something from the shop. During this time, Ronnie comes, knocks Noah unconscious, and kidnaps her. When Nick comes out of the shop, he sees that Noah is not in the car, so he gets worried and realizes that Noah's life is in danger. Nick then informs his mom and dad, and they seek police help. The police check the CCTV footage, and Nick identifies that it was Ronnie who kidnapped Noah. Meanwhile, Noah is kidnapped by none other than her own dad, Jonas, through Ronnie. Jonas calls Noah's mom and tells her to bring $100,000 cash to a location at 4 p.m. tomorrow in exchange for releasing Noah. Nick's dad agrees to pay the $100,000. Noah's mom and William go to the place with the money as told by Jonas, and the police are also there, in disguise with them. However, Jonas had already hidden a camera there to keep an eye on them, and he was also listening to their conversations. Nick is in a car with a female police officer, and she asks him, "Did you really lose the car race to Ronnie?" He replies, "I didn't lose. He cheated, and now whenever I see him in my car, I get very angry because I'm still paying the insurance on that car." Suddenly, Nick remembers that there's a tracker in the car until the insurance expires. The police immediately track the car, revealing Noah's location. Jonas also finds out that they have tracked him, so he takes Noah and tries to escape. Nick sees that Noah is driving the car because she was at gunpoint. Nick starts chasing the car, and after reaching a place, Noah stops the car. Jonas points a gun at Noah's head and tells her to keep driving. Now Nick and Noah are right in front of each other. Both cars are driving fast, and when they get very close, they both pull the handbrake and duck down. Just then, the female police officer sitting with Nick shoots Jonas with a gun, and he dies. After this, we see Noah's mom meeting her, and she is very happy to have her daughter back. At the end of the story, we see Nick sneaking into Noah's room and hugging her. They are both very happy, and now whenever they are near each other, they don't even try to control themselves. They are very happy to have each other completely. Meanwhile, we see Noah and Nick's parents talking to each other, saying that they need to end Nick and Noah's relationship somehow. And with this, the story ends here. So, friends, I hope you liked this story a lot. If you are new to my channel, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.